7.
Nut.
Hello, everybody.
That one up.
Welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That one, I feel like it's been a while since we've got the nut button, and two, that one felt like a loud nut button.
It's a lot closer to the mic than usual.
I put the speaker right up next to the mic.
Good to know. Good to know.
It was appreciated.
How's it going, everybody? We are back
It
for
does
more
tangle.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage. And we've got some exciting stuff to go and do, so let's go ahead and jump into things, shall we?
Shot.
I guess so.
Previously,
Why
on
you
the
gotta sigh
Dungeon
like
of
that?
the Mad Mage, the party found themselves in the overgrown courtyard of Halaster Keep. To the south, the 4th Division of the Waterdeep City Guard fought a desperate battle against a troll horde. A horde that was supposed to be broken with the death of their leadership. But the plans the party had were based on faulty information. How had everything gone so awry? At that moment, Ash's medallion began to hum. The party got an answer to one of those questions. At least somewhat. Out of the darkness came Gormir, Teravar, and Yasala, the 3 Lycan mercenaries the party had previously met on the Field of Triumph. Gormir gloated at how easy it had been to fool the guard, boasted about the impending arrival of his god, Vaprak. The Wares attacked, engaging the party in bloody combat. In his bloodlust, Gormir continued to divulge their plans. At that moment, Anda, the troll shaman, enacted a ritual meant to turn Fruchtensvard into an avatar of Vaprak. Once completed, the trolls, led by their god, would sweep across the entire Sword Coast. Gormir, in his bluster, failed to realize that he and his Lycans were outmatched. But even as silver tore through his flesh, he glorified his god. The gravity of the situation settled upon the party. Did they attack Anda and try to prevent the ritual? If they did that, would Fruchtensvard just rally the troll horde and crush the 4th? If they went for Fruchtensvard, would Anda escape, only to try again later? It was not an easy choice. But people, soldiers, relying on the party, were dying in the here and now. The group decided to attack Fruchtensvard, hoping that the defeat of the Troll King would prevent Anda's ritual and break the back of the troll horde. The party approached the ancient ruins of Halaster Keep. Within, they found the many-headed Troll King Fruchtensvard. The creature was a terrifying opponent, but thanks to Ashes and his blood curse of the eyeless, the party was able to dispatch the Troll King with surprising ease. Or so they thought. Time and time again, the Troll King got back up, each time bringing the party closer and closer to the edge of death. The only thing that seemed to keep the Troll King from regenerating was the chill touch of Ezra's spectral hand. Eventually, Bones, with Callow's aid, cut the king's heart from his chest. The king's body stopped moving and began to wither. But still, the heart continued to regenerate, trying to grow a new body for the king, the eternal king. The darkness around the party brightened as lightning crashed down in the copse to the north of the keep. The light showed figures running through the keep grounds, the shattered remnants of the troll horde. Somehow, they had broken. The king's heart continued to pulse. Lightning strikes once more to the north of you. Blinding flash illuminating the area around the ruined heap. You see several dozen figures running through the area. And with the light illuminating the keep, framing you in the entryway, many of them see you. And you watch as there is a shift in momentum. As the dozens of trolls fleeing to the north, many of them begin to break off and rush in your direction. The Troll King's heart pulses again, throwing thick masses of flesh up and over Bones' paws, forcing him to kind of rip them away and continue to cut down onto the heart itself. Ezrah, you're there almost instinctively, just hitting the heart with another chill touch, halting the regeneration. A few heartbeats pass as the illumination flickers away, and you realize you are but moments from being hit by a wave of troll flesh. You hear Hallow off to one side, clutching some medallion around her neck, murmuring softly. Prayer. And then you hear this crackle, this bzzz, and the air about 5 feet away from Matashtai splits open into this jagged line. And you hear this hup to hup to hup to hup to, and coming out of this portal you see this row of heavily armored soldiers, every single one of them bearing what looks to be like a massive crank loaded heavy crossbow, and outstriding behind them is a gold dragonborn. And in a space of a heartbeat, this wall of flesh forms in front of you, turns as one maneuver, drops to a knee. You see the gold dragonborn raise a hand, hold, and lightning comes out again, illuminating the area, and you see 2-3 dozen trolls and trollkin 50 feet away from you. Fire! You see this surge, this line of quarrels fire out, and as they do, they all flare up as a wall of fire bursts over the oncoming wave of trollkin. You hear another bzzz, and not 15 paces ahead of this line of soldiers, another portal opens, and another wave of soldiers comes through, followed by a tiefling in immaculate robes, kind of just casually looking around himself. He sees the gold dragonborn and smiles and nods, and very casually, as the soldiers kind of turn and perform the same maneuver, just offhandedly shouts fire into the darkness without even looking, and another wave of quarrels flies out to meet the oncoming tide. The second wave finishes what the first started, breaking the morale of the trolls and trollkin as they had sought to find easy victims in their flight. A few moments pass, and you hear this piercing squall, this and you hear this lightning flashes again, and you see a V shape of griffins flying over the courtyard.
Yes. Mandy, yes.
And just as the light begins to flicker away, right, you see half of them dive down, and there are shrieks throughout the courtyard area and the copse beyond it. The Troll King's heart pulses once more. And your attention, for a moment, drawn away from the dire circumstances that you find yourselves in this moment, drawn away by the impromptu rescue. That attention is brought back. The Troll King's heart still seeks to regenerate in your hands. It seems that you are safe from any onslaught outside of this keep. But what are you going to do now?
Ezra's going to hit it with another chill touch.
Okay.
Keep cutting on it.
And then he's going to use the Hasna Keta and cast Detect Magic on himself.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm gonna greet these new troops.
Okay.
It looked like Dragonborn was in charge, so
I want to make sure that Bones has everything under control, so I will assist him in rending flesh from the heart.
Okay.
And in that, I'll be like, just out of I'll grab my my Quicksilver and like see if like silver has any effect on it. Just
Okay. So, Ezra hits the heart with a chill touch. It halts regenerating, and in the next few moments, Bones, you and Ashes begin to cut away some of the renewed flesh from the heart itself, pulling out a few shards of bone that have been calcifying, that have been coming into existence on the underside of it, like a rib trying to form so that it can kind of like hold it in place. Ezra, Detect Magic comes up, and you're suddenly bombarded with waves of magical energy. But they're not coming from the heart. There are a couple of magical auras from within the treasure hoard inside the keep. But you are getting hit with almost overwhelming surges of magic coming from mostly the figures that have arrived here as Matashtai moves towards them.
Howdy there. Thanks for the assist.
You say that the soldiers do not move. They are already in process, cranking their massive crossbows back, reloading, and stepping forward past the second wave as they begin to prepare as well, right? Systematically defending each other. The Dragonborn sees you, nods, holds up a finger. Idealism. Continue. He speaks to the tiefling, and the tiefling kind of just nods his head and basically begins to walk forward with this first line of soldiers as they pass the second, taking command of the two groups. the gold dragonborn turns to you and kind of like appraises you, looks back behind you, looks at everyone else, kind of appraises the situation. Says, well, you're alive. Good.
Yeah, just barely. Troll King's hanging on back there too. His heart is something else.
Kind of like eyes you, and he says, "The king yet lives."
In a way, we ripped his heart out, but it keeps making more of him.
He marches forward, right? He walks towards Bones and Ashes, like walks up next to you, and just like in this like, come talk to me while we're walking, right? Type
All
thing.
right, I walk with him. And I kind of give him a quick rundown. Like, we ran into what's his nuts lieutenant in the lake. Then we ran into the radioactive one. I don't remember any of their names. And then do we hit
Rudna.
Yeah,
them
those
both.
ones. Yeah, we took both of them out. So we killed the water one, but his body floated back in the water. Pretty sure he's dead, but
I will
we
remember.
definitely.
I'll spread the news.
So
So you two have, like, you weren't a far distance away, so you walked right over to.
Meanwhile, we're
basically.
cutting on this heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you like
Oh,
as long as
not again!
as long as Ezra, is there to like hit it every little bit, it doesn't really like continue to bloom. It's in those moments, right, where like your attention is drawn elsewhere, like in the flashes of lightning as you're watching a troll horde come at you. You're less concerned about like the regenerating heart in your hands. It's those moments where it actually has kind of like a chance to start growing again, right? As long as you guys are focused in the here and now, you're fine. So he walks up, right, and like this is not the first time you have met this individual.
Otho King of the Harpers.
Otho Kent. This is the leader of, as you have been told, the Second Octave, basically a paramilitary group in the Harpers, basically like Harper's Special Forces. And he stands in front of you all, kind of like looking around. Callow has stopped, kind of like praying, seeing what has happened. She's kind of stepped forward. And Otho Kent takes in the situation and says, "What have you tried?"
Well, we burned it a bunch.
Removed it from the body?
Yeah, took it out of the body. Good call. Ezra's been fingering it.
Really? Really?
You have any
Sorry,
acid?
You've been touching it. Unfortunately, no. We were kind of hoping fire would do the trick.
We don't have a source of acid.
It may
I
need
tried
both,
silver.
or prefer acid. There are some that are resistant to either. Do you have anything else? Cold? Anything?
All right.
We got a bag of colding. Wait, do we have that?
do?
No, we don't have that in this campaign. I'm sorry, never mind. Wrong campaign.
All right, so
Different campaign.
I will
I mean,
take
I can
5
use...
damage, and that's a lot of health for me right now. And ride up with cold,
Oh,
and on my Quicksilver, and I'll start cutting at it to see if the cold from that does a thing.
you into the heart, and it kind of blossoms around, and it seems as though the cold hurts it, but it does not seem to halt the regeneration in any way, shape, form, fashion.
Cold doesn't help.
I have a wild card. My chaos energies I can't necessarily control, but there is a potential that acid comes out of it.
Anyone in the
But
fucking army
that
have
is-
acid?
That is gonna expend some of my energy to do that.
Well, we should be safe at the moment. You said you can prevent it from regenerating?
Yes, chill touch. It has a ability to minimize regenerating magics.
Let's stick with that then for now. So, this didn't exactly go according to plan.
Which part?
Yeah, I'd say.
This was my plan the whole time.
Any idea what happened?
Yeah. Turns out you had some traitors. A couple of Sorry, I don't know what's the proper term, Ashes. Where people?
Infected.
Lycanthropes.
That's the one. There's a group of lycanthropes who apparently fed some bad information to you guys.
Othakin kind of turns to Callow and kind of like raises one ridged eyebrow. And Callow kind of like, in fairness, Othakint is here to assist. So, not hit the city guard's fault for being misled. And Othakint kind of like, he just shrugs casually, like he doesn't care, right, about the distinction. And then he says, Gormir and his kin. Callow just kind of nods. Othkin says, I'm disappointed.
Shocked. Shocked.
Is
Well,
this
not that
guy a
shocked.
guardsman or is this guy a
No, he's a harper.
helper?
He's a harper.
He is a harper.
He says, he looks at Callow and he says, when they played a good performance at the swamp and at the woods, but it didn't take long for the other groups to realize that they were not up against they thought they would be meeting. When that happened, Rosenkrantz called in assistance. Back up.
Do you have information on the fourth? Have they survived?
They took a pretty bad mauling. The forces they were up against were nearly triple what they anticipated. But they held.
Yeah, that's fair.
Long enough for us to reinforce them. Long enough for aid to arrive. And long enough, it seems, for you to cut the heads, and he kind of like looks at the body, right? The withered body. Heads from the... You know, that metaphor doesn't really work right now. Well done.
Right. Maybe it would be a good idea to find some place to deal with. How do we know how long it's going to take to root the rest of the enemy forces?
Real quick before we get too off topic, there was a troll shaman over in them there woods doing some nasty shit.
Anda, we detected his magic when we arrived. We sent some individuals after him, but I haven't heard anything yet. We'll have to see exactly what happened. You all are done.
What about that? And Ezra points at the horde.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, bro. Finders keepers. As I cut the hard more.
Otherkin just kind of shrugs. You'll hear no argument from me. And you're not the first. Callow kind of like steps in and she says, a lot of mercenaries that do work with us, it's expected that what they find they can keep. As long as it's not obviously not
The
breaking
city of Waterdeep.
well, like, not if we're going to liberate a village from a bandit's, domination, then you don't get to break into houses and just take things out of their chests.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, if you want to
Yeah.
head back in and see what's in that pile back there, we'll hurry up and we can maybe get back to John, see what the best course of action is.
Ah, yes, John.
Also,
Alright,
Kent tells you, take your time. Rest if you need to. Obviously, we'll have to deal with that, and he just kind of gestures to the heart. But I am to keep you safe for the evening.
Thank you.
Hero.
Just kind of shrugs.
Hey,
I give
can
I give Matthew my bag of holding for the horde.
Okay. And I kind of look over to the group. I kind of whisper talk to the guys. I'm like, you guys want to, like, it's kind of morbid, but do we want to take the Troll King's heads for Troll Skull Manor?
Sure.
I can clean them.
Okay.
Just an
So
idea.
in
I'm
the
gonna go to
aftermath-
the horde.
In the
do have
aftermath,
a bag
right?
of
Bones is
band of
basically
goblins
there
who
with this Troll
specialize in
King's
this.
heart. Ezra's there repeatedly zapping it, right? Bones is paring off flesh as it does kind of like regrow. Ashes, are you setting about like collecting Troll King skulls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's an amazing idea. I'm very glad you're here to suggest it.
Easy peasy. So that's a simple matter of like getting your sword out and cutting some heads. You can easily get Rook, Tin, and Svard, which are nice, scary-sized, respectable troll heads. Each of them weighs probably about 10 pounds or so.
Okay.
I mean, probably more than that, but we'll ballpark.
I was gonna say
that in
probably
our
more.
shit.
Isn't like a human head like 8 pounds?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I'm kind of ballparking there, but it doesn't
Yeah.
matter that much.
I have marked 3 king troll heads in my inventory, 10 pounds.
Okay. And while that's going on, because it's bloody. Well, it's not really bloody business. It's kind of bloody business.
No, I mean,
it takes you a little bit to work through that. Otho Kent is kind of standing off, not far, maybe like 15 feet away, just watching, keeping tabs on everything, trying to make sure that nothing comes sneaking up on you guys in the darkness. Right. Matashtai, you head over to the horde and start taking a look at everything.
Shoveling gold into
It's a
bag of
massive
holding.
pile of loot, honestly.
Alright.
Um,
Well, I start shoveling money as much as I can get, and then keep an eye out for any items that look possibly magical.
So there are thousands. There are close to 30,000 coins here.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a lot of coins.
It's a lot of coins. And there's a lot of little objects, like little statuettes, jewelry. There's a kind of rolled up tapestry right? All stuff that is potentially valuable. What do you want to do about... You just want to try to shove everything in the bag?
All right. Well, I'm gonna start with platinum. I'm gonna try and get as much platinum as I can, if there's any platinum.
Is it separated out?
Then I'll move to gold.
That feels like a
All right.
Ezra thing to do.
All right, let's do this.
And then I'm gonna go for gems.
There's 700. There's 240 platinum.
240 platinum. All right. Note keeper, please.
I'm already
240 platinum.
There's 2,300 gold.
Yeah. Wee.
Hell yeah.
It also, as you're rifling through this, you start to see things that kind of stand out to you, and you're like, you realize, oh, I think I've heard about these. You see these big fucking coins that are basically shaped like half moons
Ooh.
that look
50
like
cent pieces.
platinum with gold centerpieces. And it takes you a moment, and you kind of like look over to Ezra, and Ezra's like, oh.
No.
You find a fistful of harbor moons. You find
Worth
7.
500 gold each.
What's the exact number of fistful?
There are 7.
I feel like I can fit more than that on my fist, but I'm just gonna say.
I mean, they're pretty fucking big.
No,
man.
they're big.
Oh well, I didn't
Like
realize
they
were
have
quite
a
that
they
big.
have
I
a
probably could
central
not fit that
they have a
many.
central hole in them, and a copper piece fits into that central hole.
Okay.
That's how big they are.
Okay.
You find
And we got horses around here somewhere. We got to carry all this shit. Probably.
I'm just gonna tell you. There's 4,550 electrum. There's 7,800 silver, and there's
Ah,
22,000 copper.
All right.
That's a lot of copper.
Can you say that one more time? I was still looking at Harbor Moons.
I will copy pasta you real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we're equipped.
By the way,
to
Harbor
fucking take
Moon
all
is
this.
worth 5 platinum.
Yeah, boy.
And a platinum is worth
10
10
gold.
Every Harbor Moon is worth 50 gold.
How much of that can fit in our bags? Let's see.
Okay. So how much room did you have in your bag?
That is
That's a-
600 pounds of currency.
All of it or just the first parts?
All of it.
Oh, that's not too bad. I have 328 pounds available in my bag.
320.
But that's excluding all the other art pieces and
Okay. So I can make some room in my bag, but I gotta throw out all your short swords, bucklers, and hand crossbows that you had for the crew.
Damn. Really?
They're
I
like
thought
that's like
there were
35. That's 40 pounds of stuff.
As,
right there.
as a heads up, 440 pounds of that is copper pieces.
When did we pick those up? Did we not just give them to them?
That was after the drought. I thought maybe we did, but they're still on my sheet, so
What
I
are you
wasn't
talking
sure. No, did
We
we give
definitely-
his?
You
Head
bought some
takers.
extra
Definitely
stuff
did.
since we went topside, though, didn't you?
I brought extra stuff. I don't know that he did.
All the weapons
Ah.
you guys gave over to them.
Okay, then I'm taking
Yeah.
all of that off. Okay, that
I
will-
have the kits and shit. I know I still have those.
So just with what I can carry on my person, I can carry 3,700 coins, regardless of the type,
You
without
have-
being encumbered.
You have 3,700 coins worth of.
Wait, yeah.
No, I mean like bags.
Oh yeah, probably no. I don't have a bag. Put it in.
Well,
That's
I
probably-
think we all have backpacks, right?
Yeah, I've got a-
that's part of the
yeah.
explorers.
I
pack.
do
And I
also
mean,
have
keep
room
in
in my
mind, there's
bag.
also there are some small chests that some of this is in. There are boxes and barrels
small
here.
chest. Oh, okay. All right, Mitch. How do you want to do? Do you want me to just start adding shit to my sheet and see until it fills up?
I mean,
Sure.
well,
Yeah.
no,
Like,
if there's-
I think between the two of us, absolutely can fit everything.
All right, I'm gonna add all of the platinum. I've already taken my stuff aside, but I'm gonna add all the platinum to my sheet first. And
I just got to re-add up my bag to see how much I have in here.
why do you have to add up your bag?
Like, how much weight I have in there.
Can't you just set your strength to 34 in the bag?
Oh, that's no, because I never used my actual bag of holding.
Yeah, he doesn't use his bag of holding, even though I gave him a bag of holding.
Yeah, I never moved
Oh.
everything over. Though, actually, I have no control over that screen.
Page.
Bag of
Okay,
holding.
now I'm gonna add the gold to my bag.
Matashtai.
304.
You should have control.
I have control.
Okay.
Really, all we should be worrying about putting somewhere else is the copper. Because 160 pounds of it can just go into a bag of holding, and that's everything else from a currency standpoint.
Okay, so I'm at 469, and I've got everything but the copper and the harbor moons.
Yeah, because we don't have a currency field for harbor moons.
Let me see how much fucking copper I can add. 1,000. Oh, I can add more than that. 2,000.
It's
Nope, less
a
than
pound for every 50 coin.
Right. Here is.
that. 1,800.
I'm gonna
Nope,
post
more,
this
less than that.
in chat. But here's the
1,600.
stuff you find.
Nope, less than that. 1,550. Nope, less than that.
So
Well,
that's what
okay,
you
I'll
find along with all of the other.
dump the
All
oil.
the coinage. You find a bunch of other stuff. That's what this.
1,600.
You find a carved ivory statuette, a gold ring set with bloodstones, a silver necklace with a gemstone pendant. You find refined glasses, a box of turquoise animal figures, golden token with a silver inlaid whip on it, brass mug with jade inlay, 2 of those, gold bird cage with electrum filigree, a jet black light crossbow, and a large, well-made tapestry.
Which
Okay,
of
I
those
got-
items seem magical?
You will probably have to approach, which is not difficult, right? Like, he's over at the other side of the room, so you kind of like, Bones has to bring the heart over while you're consistently zapping it, you know, etc. But the glasses, the golden token, and the crossbow seem magical.
Okay, I will call those out and say I can hold on to those for when we get a chance to identify.
There's a whoosh overhead, right? And you hear this a familiar shriek.
Is it Mandius?
It just sounds like a flight of griffins overhead. And they're there for a moment and they're gone.
I can carry some shit on me, Mitch.
How much does 20,000 copper weigh?
A lot.
20,000 divided by 50.
Yes.
20,000 divided by 50 is 400 pounds.
I can't carry all that in here. I can carry 10,000. That'll put me at.
Yay, treasure hoards! Zach's over here like, kill me now.
I don't give a shit. I'll take
I
this
can
money.
ca-
I'll take this
I
money
can
all
put
day.
60 more pounds in here. Blah, blah, blah.
50 more pounds. That's a lot of copper, bro.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to figure out how many I can get in here exactly.
How much gold is 22,000 copper?
Oh.
Not a lot.
22,000.
Like 220?
Isn't it divided by 100? Yeah, it's 220 gold.
It's 220
Whatever.
gold.
No, we need
Greater.
it. Fuck it. I need it.
That's a greater. Like,
I tried to call it out without sounding judgmental before, but we're all for it. So all right, let's do it.
Look, if we have to get rid of it, we dump the copper first.
Sure.
In my haversack, I can hold probably another 30 pounds worth of the copper if in my.
That's
I've got
haversack.
room. I got room on my person too, and Jay could carry a fucking box.
yeah, if you put some, you said there was a box. Put it in a box. I'll carry the fucking box.
As a heads up, the various items, they total out to about 80 pounds worth of stuff.
I think I can wear that on my person if you guys want.
Though I will say the majority of the weight is made up by the tapestry and the ivory statuette. The tapestry is
No, we
probably
need
like
that.
30 pounds on its own.
Nah, we need that shit. We got walls to cover.
I mean, I could shift some stuff in my haversack, and could the tapestry fit in the main pouch?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Because the main pouch
So-
fits like javelins and things like that, right?
It fits
Yeah.
80 pounds. The two side pouches only fit 20 pounds.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
I can shift some of the stuff.
And it's already like rolled up in such a manner that you can just slide it in there. Good to
So
go.
I'll grab that. You said 30 pounds for the tapestry?
Yeah, it's 30 pounds. About 30 pounds.
How
or so.
much does each coin weigh? Is it 0.1?
It's,
I don't know.
it's
Jacob said
50,
like 7 pounds.
50 for a pound. 50 coins equals
50
a pound.
coins for a pound? Okay.
Do the harbor moons weigh more since they're so big?
We're not going to worry about it.
Okay.
no.
I just
They
just
do in theory, yes, absolutely. They weigh more, but also in theory,
all the currency. would
yeah,
weigh.
a dragon weighs more than a shard, you know, etc. But that gets really nitty gritty, and we're not going to worry about it. Like as long as you guys
All
can
right.
ballpark the weights, it's fine, right?
There is 7,000 copper still on the ground.
Oof.
All right, we're gonna put it in a chest.
Did you subtract what I grabbed? Because the tapestry takes up more.
I took 13,000 copper.
Okay. You did not. You were not subtracting from other people, or for other people.
No.
Correct.
Is that including
Correct.
you took 13,000? Okay, so that includes the 2,000 I took. So we're at 15. So there's 7 left.
Yes.
So
Okay,
Ashes takes that and the other objects.
It's just like
I'll do it.
got a crate in one hand, like up this, and then like another box just like this, like.
Well, I mean, I can definitely carry some stuff outside of my bag too, because
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah,
I run real light outside of my bag.
same.
Sounds right. So you guys spend basically like the next 20 or 30 minutes, right?
Stopping
trying
often to fucking chill, touch the goddamn heart, and cut
Yeah.
on it.
Well, I think it probably gets after Ashes like removes the heads and gets those stowed away, right? He can come over and he can start helping Matashtai kind of like move things over. And if Bones, if you're willing to eventually like put the heart down, Ezra can just like stand there and be like zap, 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 zap.
We've got a
zap,
120
zap.
foot radius or range.
You know.
So
Sure, yeah.
And what's the AC of an inanimate object?
In this case, nothing. Like he doesn't miss. There's no chance of missing. It's just as long as it's reapplied consistently, you know. So at first it's a kind of a slow going, and then as you kind of figure out what you're doing and kind of like what the plan is, who's taking what, the looting picks up pace, and you finish up about 30 minutes or so after Othakint and the second octave teleports in to rescue you.
Fuck, we are greedy. God damn.
And the entire time, right, like Othakint's just there kind of making small talk, mostly with Callow, right, at this point. There are flashes of lightning. You hear the shrieks of griffins mostly in the distance. And as you kind of come towards the end, when you're kind of finishing things up, the last 10 minutes or so, a couple of people do start arriving. Like, you see messengers show up to speak to Othokent, and he sends them off in different directions. And basically, as you're finishing, another rent opens up, and out of it steps an elf, right? This bright red-robed elf, who just steps casually next to Othokent, looks back at all of you, kind of nods, and then starts making small talk with the gold dragonborn.
Is it Esmel?
It is not.
Okay.
And then, as you guys are kind of wrapping up, you start to head over, and Othokent kind of gestures over to the high elf, and he just says, Shriaden, our wizard. And the high elf just kind of like inclines his head. Well, I'm pretty close to spent. If you are ready, and take you out of this hellhole.
That sounds great.
Sounds mighty fine.
Kind of like squints at the Troll King's heart, right? Like narrows his brow, furrows his brow, right?
No, I need
It's a work
this.
in progress.
Are we keeping that for a reason?
Yes, I need it.
If we left it to its own devices, we'd have a new king in a matter of minutes.
Also, it would regrow. Yeah.
Kind of like turns his palm up and fire begins to kind of like sizzle up, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work. We tried that.
Do you
Puts
have
his other
acid?
palm up, right, and you see this green kind of like
Hell
spray
yeah,
begin to
blast
kind of
it.
come up. Does-
I mean, you can try the acid if you want.
We haven't tried acid. Here you go.
But you want to destroy it.
No, I need it. I don't want it destroyed. I'd like it if it would stop regenerating, but I need the heart.
What have you been doing? And he kind of like looks over
burning it
at
and-
Ezra and he says, "Ah, you're doing
Hi.
necrotic."
Chill touch.
Then I suggest you keep doing that.
For the days it takes us to get back.
Well, he's going to teleport us back, is what it sounded like.
Yeah,
You don't know that?
That's true.
Now's the time when you wearing those gloves, Jacob.
So,
That doesn't do anything. That doesn't
he-
have the same effect as chill touch,
Oh,
homie.
he turns
Because it was
and
a special
he-
gift for me, and now
Oh,
you're
he
giving me a
mutters.
special favor.
Gotcha,
He
gotcha.
mutters, and a rent opens in the air, and Othokent immediately goes through. Callow immediately goes through. Shriaden is standing there waiting for you four.
So do you like to hold your
Go
breath or something?
now!
Oh God!
We go.
Comes in following you, and the rent closes behind him, and you find yourself back at base camp for the 4th. And there is, it's chaos. Well, it's not chaos, but it sounds like chaos. There are, it's the aftermath of a battle. Like there are dozens of wounded soldiers. Keep in mind the 4th was around 100 or so individuals. Find out that over half of them are severely wounded. Fortunately, they only lost a dozen or so people outright.
That's not too bad.
But things aren't looking great for some of the people that have survived. Either it's potential that their wounds won't exactly heal, or they won't heal well. And unlike adventurers, for most people, magical healing is expensive.
How much is expensive? I have 22,000 copper pieces we can put towards it.
Well, a potion of healing's 50 gold a pop. So that would get you 4
We
of
can
those.
heal 4 people.
Yeah. And even that,
Of
right?
the
It's the
50.
scenario of like magical healing in an instant, right? If you're doing it in the moment. The way like adventurers work, or the way like scenarios work, is quite often like when you take hit point damage, that's not necessarily like you taking like a wound or something like that. It's, you know, like you becoming exhausted, becoming drained, losing morale, right, etc., etc. There's a lot more that goes on in losing hit points than just, oh, I got cut. But for a lot of these people, like you see men and women who have been mauled, who have broken spines, who have heads caved in,
Okay.
those types of things,
Probably,
right?
Probably not ideal.
And-
That's probably less than
And
ideal.
magical healing can help with those things, but it can only do so much, right? Like regenerations, like that type of healing is something that can fix all of those things. But basic healing spells can only do so much. And that's what the fourth is feeling right now. You hear the cries of the wounded around you, you hear moaning, you hear cursing, right? People are rushing about trying to deal with different scenarios, trying to save people's lives. And this is kind of what you teleport into. You actually, when you come into the base camp, you're in a set of 3 small circles. And very quickly, Shriadan like moves you out of the circle, and you're kind of like getting your bearings and listening to all of this. And not 45 seconds later, another rent opens up in one of the adjacent circles, and you see a team of individuals come through, carrying wounded. Right? At Othakent's urging, you are led to the main command tent. And there you find kind of like previously when you were in the main command tent, it's a large tent, but there were maybe at any given time 8, 9, 10 people in here. There's probably close to 30 people in here. And almost immediately you can tell why. It's because not only is John Merlot here,
Jonathan,
but it seems as though Jan Bardorba and Heldrick Rosenkrantz, the Guard Knight commander, are here as well. With their aides attendant and messengers running back and forth. And as you come in, you are not noticed for a few minutes, actually, before Othakent kind
the
of like
heart beats super loud. No, sorry.
Othakent kind of like finds a break in the in all of the flurry of activity, and he steps forward and whispers some words to one of the nearby attendants. And that attendant's kind of eyes go wide. And he steps forward and whispers to Guard Knight Commander Eldrick. And
He did what?
and she kind of like raises a hand. And you can see, like, in this moment, Bardorba and Merlot are arguing with each other. They're kind of like yelling back and forth at each other about something. It's hard to figure out what's going on because there's so many different people here. And Heldrick just kind of like raises a hand, and as soon as they notice, they both quiet. And then slowly, like, everyone in the room realizes, and everyone goes quiet. Everyone stops moving. Heldrick turns and kind of looks at all of you, and in that moment, yes, there's this kind of like half pause, and the Troll King's heart goes boom boom right before Ezra's just like zap, zaps it again.
he says and he zaps it. We got some more. No, not
Not hard.
And so the Knight Commander steps forward, and she says, in this kind of like old, craggly voice, "Am I to understand you've downed the king?"
As well as 2 lieutenants.
Merlot, these were your special ops? And he just kind of nods over at her. Good work. I do not say this often. That's why I'm a Knight Commander.
Okay.
But we fucked up. And you almost paid the price for it.
It's fine. We also dealt with the reason why the fuck up happened.
And like
That's
raises
right.
her eyebrows at that, and she says,
We're full service.
"That'll be an interesting story to hear later. For now, we have more work to do. We're leaving the 4th." She kind of looks over at Merlot, who kind of like nods his graciously. Says, she kind of like looks. It looks like she's kind of like trying to find someone. And you hear this, and you see like Callow kind of like stand up behind all of you, right? Like making herself seen. And she says, Heldrick says, "Ah, right. This one. See them rested. We'll deal with this in the morrow. You're all to be commended."
Thank
and
you.
then she just turns away from you.
They have like a.
How are we gonna deal with this situation during the night?
It honestly does not seem like everyone, even Othakent at this point, right? With Shriaden, they seem to have been like, "Oh well, you want it alive? Okay."
All right, Ezra and I don't sleep.
What happens if you put it in a brazier of like just like burning coals? Like what happens?
I was thinking about this,
stop
like,
it.
what if you get a blacksmith, right, to make an iron box, right, and it doesn't put the lid on, but the second the heart is in there, hot iron plate to seal off the cube, and dunk it, and you got a solid iron box. There is no room for him to freaking grow.
What if it somehow grows around it and then he's got a heart protected by an iron box inside of his body?
Yeah, what the shit, Jay?
It makes it so much worse.
Oh my god, that's the basis for my next bad guy. Congratulations,
What
good
the
job.
Fuck, Jay.
It's not okay, dude.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
Something heart-shaped box.
So, the flurry of activity kicks back up,
I'm gonna go drink real quick.
and Othakent, Callow kind of like lead you out of the command tent. And Othakent and Shriaden kind of look at you, and Othakent says, "Did a fine job. was, well, Eldrick said it. It was an uncharacteristic mistake. There aren't many of those in her. There aren't many of those in her history.
So,
You kept it from being worse than it could have been. You'll remember that.
Good. So, I'm assuming this is where we part ways, Callow?
Callow says, no, I don't know about you, but my intention is finding us a tent and sleeping.
Sounds good.
Shriadan does kind of like, but this is where we are parting ways, and he gestures between him and Othakent.
Appreciate the assistance. Would have been would have played out a lot differently without your help.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I think everything would have played out a lot differently for a lot of situations.
Fair.
You were there. And if you hadn't been, I don't think we'd be routing the troll horde at this moment. At least not without some greater difficulty.
All right. Well, after realizing or remembering how much HP I have, man, that tent looking real good.
Okay.
And if you guys would like, I can throw up my hut.
Yeah, we don't have 10 minutes for you to cast that.
That's actually true. You don't have 10 minutes for Ezra to cast that.
I thought we were putting his heart in an iron box.
No, because then he's gonna have a heart protected by an iron box.
What do you mean? It's gotta be sealed. If there's nowhere where he can get out.
So this
no,
bickering
cells.
starts, right? And Callow kind of
but
leads
then
you
you
on
put
as you're talking about it. You get strange
Iron
looks
box in
from the people that you pass.
Cask full of
Real quick.
acid.
We're heading to our tent, right? To pass out, is
Yeah,
that what I heard?
basically. Callow's just trying to find you guys a place to rest.
Let me double check. It's like I'm pretty hurt, but like not the end of the world. I'd actually ask her if there's like a medical tent or something here at the base that I could maybe go help out at for a while before I head to bed.
She grabs a messenger that's clearly like running through down one of the aisles between tent rows that you're on, and basically just where's the nearest triage center? And the soldier kind of like stammers off a location.
Okay.
So you have some basic directions.
So I'd just let the guys know, like, hey guys, I think I'm gonna go see if I can do a little help over at the triage tent. If you guys need anything, just come find me there.
All right,
Right.
well, I don't know. Just check tents till you find us. I don't know.
That's fair. I'm gonna find out where our tent is, then I'm gonna go.
It's easy. All you have to do is just follow the sound of the immortal, undying, beating heart.
Oh yeah. Just follow the
Hey,
sounds of the heartbeat.
Ezra, do you think maybe we should try and find some other people that can do this spook hand?
Or
That's an Ezra
bucket
special.
of acid.
No, I need it alive. No acid. Do I need it alive? I don't know if I need it alive or not, but I do need it, so no acid.
Have you ever used a heart for any other crafting?
Look, I'm just saying,
No.
like, if there's a way we can, to ensure that the king doesn't respond, we should probably do that.
We're doing it
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now. All we have to do
if
is
you don't kill the heart, like, how are you gonna craft it into something?
It's not my department, if I'm honest with you.
Because he's just gonna keep regenerating until you kill the heart.
Callow,
So you're gonna turn him into a super weapon.
It's not my department.
Can we get a vial of acid?
I can
Or like a bucket of acid.
I can see if we
0
have
acid
any
would
left
help
over. I know that there were some commissioned. We favored fire, but there were some commissioned for the battle itself. Maybe there's still some stockpiles here or there.
If we can at least get one to test a little, do a little experiment.
No, I forbid it.
Or we get like a syringe and we drip acid on it periodically throughout the night.
I mean, I wasn't just gonna soak it in a bucket. A vial is tiny.
Okay, well, a small
I
test.
really don't think 1 point of acid damage is going to destroy the immortal, unrelenting.
Immediately
Hard.
destroys the entire thing. It all
He's
just
super
disintegrates.
vulnerable to acid.
If this destroys this heart and makes it unusable for my purposes, I'm gonna have to swap characters. I don't know what else to do. I'll be immeasurably sad.
Oh my god.
Oh, I wish I was joking, but
I
I
mean-
don't know how we get over that despair.
In fairness, he's kind of been working up to this whole, like, one of the whole reasons you guys are fighting trolls is because Zach wanted a troll heart.
But it's not just a troll heart. It's
That's true.
the troll heart.
No, let's test it though. Let's drip some acid on it and hope it doesn't disintegrate.
Okay, so you guys make your way back to the tent, or you find the tent, right? Matashtai heads off to the triage center to see if he can't assist some of the work. Callow heads out, tries to find any extra supplies as far as like acid goes. Does come back after about an hour or so, and does have 3 small vials of acid.
Okay, I will take those.
We'll just quick save before we actually do this, so we
Time
can
for the scum save.
so we can load state afterwards.
I will sit down in front of the heart.
Okay.
I will chill touch it,
Okay. Stops beating.
and then I will pour just a couple of drops on it to see what happens.
Okay. Begins to sizzle and burn, and after a moment, after a moment of not being chill touched, the heart goes back into regeneration mode. But it does
What if we do
seem
both?
it does seem as though the acid has the same or similar effect as fire does.
Okay.
It does seem to be slowing the regeneration, but it does not halt it entirely.
What if we light it on acid and fire? Fire acid.
Yeah, we shoot it with that fire acid.
Corbin ain't got no fire.
Okay. I mean, is that the plan? Did you guys try that?
We'll go out to where a torch is. Just kind of roast it.
Are you guys doing this back at the tent?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys to that, and I'm gonna go try and do some bandages and
Yeah.
sewing.
You're
wounds
already
and shit
off.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe find a caved-in head and get some clay and just kind of fill it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean
Sculpt
up the
it.
head. Yeah,
What the
that's
fuck?
what I do.
What the fuck?
Oh, Jay.
It's helping. It's helping.
What the fuck? That's... What?
So we take a vial of oil, pour it on the heart,
Yep.
light it,
Yep.
chill touch,
Drip, drip.
and vial of oil.
Okay. So
I
as you
believe
chill
Jeremy
touch, the heart stops
Wouldn't do
beating.
this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.
While it's on fire.
You begin to do drip acid on it. And you become accustomed, right, to the timing here of how frequently do you need to chill touch it. Right?
Become accustomed to your face.
And as the fire and acid sizzle and pop on the heart, that time comes and goes, and the heart does not begin to regenerate. It goes to about
No,
3
it's too
times the length that it would normally take for you to refresh.
Has the fire gone out at this point?
It's about to go out, right?
Okay,
Like
okay,
it's sizzling out, right? And then, boom, 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 boom. The heart shudders back to life, and seems to continue regenerating. Ezra, or actually, so the
18
3 of you are
seconds.
there. Do any of you have insight trained?
Yes.
Probably.
If you have
Yeah.
insight, roll me insight if you are there.
If only we had Matashtai here.
Well, he's off triaging people, which is fine. Okay. Oof.
Yeah.
Ezra, the
Yeah.
newly beating heart scares it spooks you.
It does.
You're
That's
a little like,
accurate.
oh shit. But Ashes and Bones, the effect of the combined fire and acid seems to do what Ezra's chill touch does. And it also seems as though these are very small amounts of fire and acid. More might do more.
Shocker.
More might do more.
More do more. It was Mortimer.
Okay, all right.
Darn. Too bad we don't have any more acid. Guess we'll just have to keep doing this.
I pull out another vial.
No, that's not enough.
Okay, so while this experimentation is going on, Matashtai, you do find your way to a triage center, where... How much medical experience do you have?
Pretty minimal. Like my medicine is a 3.
Are you trained in medicine?
No.
Candy
I'm
striper.
looking to bandage and be shown how to sew things.
So you...
I've got deft hands.
Initially, right when you show up, it takes a little, because people are busy trying to do the things that they know they're supposed to do. So even having extra assistance is kind of difficult to utilize, because having extra assistance means you need someone to tell that person what to be doing. So it's actually, as you're kind of like standing around trying to figure out what it is you need to be doing, you realize one of the simplest jobs, and one of the jobs that you can do without needing to be told anything, is collecting bandages and cleaning them, right?
Okay.
Whether that's the actual bandages themselves or towels or things like that. And you see that there are a couple of different stations where stuff is being cleaned off, right? Like blood is being cleaned out of clothing or out of bandages, etc. And there's flurries of activity. There's people all over the place, but that's like something that you can consistently do over and over and over again without getting in anyone's way, without needing direction, etc. So
I do that.
as you do that, right? You do that for a little while. How are you just working until you...
I'm working till I'm tired and ready to go pass out. I'd also try, if like there's people, crying out for someone, but there's no one to like go to them or help. I'd like to, give them someone to talk to. And
that's why I was asking. In those initial moments, right, the first hour or two after you arrive, you're just finding things to do, and you start with like these bandage cleanings, and then you start to notice other things. You're relatively observant. You start to notice other things that you can slip in and help with this, right? Slip in and help with that. As people begin to get carried in, and there's not enough people to actually like support a person or pick a person up onto a bed or onto a cot, you slip in and you kind of like assist, in lifting a person up, and as you're kind of like acclimating to the environment, people start to tell you to do things here or there, right? They begin to see you as just a part of the environment itself. As the hours press on, a lot of the urgency begins to subside. The wounds that are dire, right? The emergencies begin to resolve, whether positively or negatively, right? Some of them resolve because people don't make it. Some of them resolve because everything that can be done for them is done. And it's in that moment, right? It's in the moments afterwards, after the majority of the emergencies have been seen to, and exhaustion begins to set in for a lot of people, that you find that kind of opportunity that you're talking about, where you're finding the ability to talk to someone or be there for someone, or help a surgeon out of the tent and off to somewhere else, that type of thing.
Two people stand out. A large human and a small gnome with a crab. They handle only the most difficult surgeries.
Snip, snip.
I'm not okay with this.
I'm okay with this. I'm absolutely
not
okay
okay
with
with
this. I'm
Not-
100% okay with this.
Hey, look, you survived.
You did survive.
You flourished.
I don't know that Jay's character flourished in that campaign, actually.
No, not really.
Actually, if anything,
It was
it probably
an
made him
experimentation.
evil.
That character.
He
not
tortured the
great.
Christ out of a guy immediately afterwards. So
That was like the beginning of Jay's bad rolling luck in our group, honestly. So, you do eventually hit a point, Matashtai, where exhaustion, you realize that your exhaustion could become a danger to others, right?
Yeah.
And you eventually find your tent, and as you enter in, Ezrah and Bones, Ashes is passed out apparently, but Ezrah and Bones are still awake, and like you come in and you hear this and like this deep breathing, and Bones kind of like kicks Ezra's foot, and Ezra and zaps the heart. Right?
Got a system go.
They're still awake. Still, it's dropped from like every consistent 6 seconds to like, twice a minute now, and Bones is, instead of consistently cutting like constantly, it's more like every 5 minutes or something. Bones gets up and he actually cuts a hunk of flesh, like a big piece of flesh off, and like throws it outside the tent. Matashtai, there's actually like a little pile of fleshy bits outside the tent.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
There's a camp dog that kind of like comes up as you're at the mouth of the tent, starts sniffing.
That's nasty. Y'all fall asleep. We're gonna have a troll king in the middle of camp.
We tried using acid and it didn't seem to do anything.
How much acid did you use?
probably
He pulls
not
out a
enough.
vial. He pulls out the last vial.
Last file. The last file.
Well, would that much acid kill you?
A story by R.A. Salvatore.
I mean, it might, depending on how it's applied.
We don't have any more. That's what we have.
You should have let them kill it when they offered.
I'm still not sold on the killing it part.
It's gonna die when you craft it into whatever you're gonna craft it.
I'm not gonna do that.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna give it to my best enchanting friend.
My best enchanting.
What if your best enchanting friend doesn't have, creepy crawly touch there?
No, he's a pretty,
You
he's
got
a
a
pretty
giant
strong wizard.
Your friend.
Well, that'd be real unfortunate.
That would suck.
I cry.
Definitely suck.
I'd go live with my boys on the 3rd floor forever. I don't know. I just assume he's equipped to handle these things.
That's promising.
Zach lives by a lot of assumptions. Hello.
Sure do. Hey, Odie, you got the danglers out?
He does.
He
Dangling.
Dangling.
So,
The power.
it is late. Like it's 3, 4, 5 in the morning, right? Ezra, Bones, are you guys just roughing it through the night?
I guess so.
I mean, unless we can find someone else to chill touch this bitch, yeah.
Or how are you gonna go about doing that?
I don't know. I suggested it earlier and no one wanted to do it, so I just left it be.
You both gain a point of exhaustion as you stay
Fair
up
enough.
the entire night
Yay.
ministering to this troll king's heart.
What?
Callow wakes up early. Actually, not too long after Matashtai arrives at the tent and goes to sleep, Callow gets up. I'm only on a couple hours of sleep, and she disappears for a while. At around 6:30ish, she comes back and wakes you all up. Right? Some of you have not slept at all. Some of you have only slept for a very short amount of time. And she says, "All right, we should head to the command tent. See what's going on. If we can't figure out some." She kind of gestures, whatever that is. She gesturing at Bones and Ezra with the heart, basically.
We're fine. Just fine. It's fine.
By the way, how are you guys carrying that around? Do you have it like in a sack, or are you just like
Bones is
open
just
air-
carrying.
open air heart
I
carrying?
just hold it.
Yeah.
No, I just hold it.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It is what it is,
Not that
Majesty.
disgusting. Like it's just a heart.
Yeah, bro, it's just a heart.
You never
Sometimes
clean
it comes alive.
Y'all fucking
Sometimes.
nasty.
You were fucking elbow deep in a person last night.
Oh my.
Part of surgery, motherfucker.
I'm not a surgeon. I clean bandages.
I thought you were helping with surgery.
So, as you guys kind of like rouse yourselves, splash water on your face, try to wake up, Callow leads you back to the command tent, where there's still an abundance of activity, but it's less chaotic than it was last night. There's the majority of the people inside this tent do not appear. They look like Ezra and Bones. They do not appear to have slept, or if they have slept, they maybe have caught 15-20 minutes here or there, that type of situation. But standing, to their credit, standing around the campaign map, the table in the center of the command tent, are John Merlot, Jan Bardorba, and Heldrick Rosenkrantz. There are probably a dozen or so little like of those foldy chairs strewn throughout the tent, right? And most of their attendants are not on their feet, though there are a handful that are on their feet performing tasks. There's 2 standing next to Rosencrantz. And as you kind of come in, she looks over at you. Ah. Morning. You broken your fast?
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
Gestures to one of the attendants, and that attendant rushes off to an adjacent tent, intending on bringing you food. A few moments pass, and basically like this big platter of various things is brought in. It's not like fine fare. It's very much travel food. There's a bunch of dried fruits and jerkies and breads and cheeses and things like that. But kind of like a charcuterie board, honestly.
All right.
Like, you know,
I like
for
some,
breakfast, which is a little like, oh,
cheesy bread, fruit, and make like this like kind of like lunchable basically.
nice. And Rosencrantz kind of like just gestures you over to the table, and where she's kind of like standing 2 fists down, and you can hear Jan and John are kind of like wrapping up a conversation, that you know, the last few trolls have been sighted. The last big grouping has been sighted fleeing to the northwest. They're being pursued by 2 contingents of Griffin cavalry, outriders. And they basically, like, you know, they're just going through the motions, you realize at this point. The battle is done. Tapping motherfuck. The battle is done, and they're kind of in that mode of like captains of the ship kind of scenario, right? It's that they're, until the end is done, they're not going to stop, especially not with their commander still standing in front of them. Right?
Well, I see him doing all this stuff while I'm eating. I'll lean over to Kala and be like, "So y'all do this every year?"
Kala says, "Well, this is a little bit more rough than any years I remember, but yeah, generally speaking. Keep in mind," she smiles over at you, "this is just one of the missions that the City Guard is undertaking this year. Half a dozen bandit holds we hit, 2 other troll excursions that were just to the south, so I guess they never had a chance to join up with this."
Damn, y'all got a lot of trolls in this area.
Huh? The Sword Coast has a bit of a troll problem.
So does the internet.
Rosencrantz kind of pipes in at that point, though. "I think you mean had a bit of a troll problem." Well, she kind of smiles and she says, who am I kidding? We've been fighting trolls since I was a child. For that, we'll be fighting trolls when my children's children are my age." How do you beat something that just keeps coming back? Doesn't seem to matter.
With diplomacy.
She kind of just lifts her eyebrows at Ashes, just like, good luck.
Did you have any success tracking down the shaman? Anda?
Unfortunately, no. It does seem as though we were in time to disrupt whatever ritual he was performing, though I think, she kind of nods at the heart, I think you did a good enough job of your own on that. But he fought pretty fiercely, was able to escape. Sure, we'll hear of him in the not too distant future.
Be careful, because Onda's plan was to revive a god. If Onda finds another suitable avatar, I don't know if there's anything to stop it.
I am the Avatar.
Not quite
And I eat the
revived.
heart.
We found quite a bit of information throughout the night. The ritual that Onda was performing itself was telling. Onda sought to awaken Fruchtensvard as an avatar of Vaprak. Fortunately, it seems as though the ritual needs, well, a worthy individual. So, we will be hard at work making sure that such an individual doesn't exist.
Right.
Armsman did well last night. Calla kind of like lifts some eyebrows at that. It's a term that you all haven't heard used during your time in the fourth.
Armsman?
Armsman.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
And then Heldrick turns to Matashtai and she says, "Especially you, Shield. I heard you were up throughout the majority of the night, working in triage."
Yeah, I didn't do much.
What is important is that we aid in what ways we can. Most people don't realize that. They think they're too weak to help. Think they have nothing to offer. But a common man carrying a bucket of water back and forth from a well, that means a soldier doesn't have to do it. It means a surgeon doesn't have to do it. Everyone can help. It takes effort.
You're right. Thank you.
All of your renown within the city guard increases by 5. Matashtai's renown within the city guard increases by 7.
I think I had 0. So.
You did. Actually. You did. This is, and this is kind of to break out of the in-game kind of discussion type scenario. This is a direct representation of what seeking a high-intensity, high-level mission for a specific faction and following it through fruition will achieve. Okay? So what that kind of does, just to kind of discuss it a little more clearly, is that confers to all of you the rank of armsman within the city guard. That's a term that they utilize for allies or our auxiliary forces, right? So you, in the aftermath of this discussion with Rosencrantz, each of you is given a pendant, right? Very small, not very ornate.
Type thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not very ornate, it's not flashy, right? But it literally just looks like an arm crossed over a chest. Okay?
Kind of on the nose there.
It absolutely is, 100%. The city guard is not known for their subtlety. But Ashes, Bones, and Ezra, you are all three conferred the rank of armsmen within the city guard, which means that if you show this pin to a city guardsman, they will, under at least most circumstances, try to render aid to you as to the best of their ability. Obviously, if you're like, hey, help me break into this house, right? They're gonna be like, hey, excuse me? Like, what? Right? But it's the, obviously, like, any city guardsman
commandeering
is
this vehicle.
Absolutely, actually. It's more along those lines. Any city guardsman is going to try to help a citizen of Waterdeep, right? But you flashing this pin in the right moment means that a city guard is going to trust you where they otherwise would not, and try to render aid more than they would normally. Matashtai, you are conferred a different pendant, slightly larger, and it's basically an emblem of a shield. It's more like instead of a pin, it's more like a badge, right? And you are conferred the rank of shield within the city guard.
Oh, that's why they called him Shield.
I was really confused too.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything because I didn't want to seem like I wasn't paying attention, but
I was like, "Dope, did I get a nickname?"
No.
We all knew it was a ploy to see if you pay attention.
Nope. Matashtai, Callow kind of talks to you about this, kind of like trying to make it clear to you all, right? Rosencrantz doesn't give you anything flashy. She doesn't shower you with gifts or monetary reparations. That's not how the city guard works, right?
Yeah, we got
You're mercenaries. You volunteered your work, right? Or you're less than mercenaries, actually, right?
yeah, fair. Yeah, we didn't
you're
charge.
volunteers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what Rosencrantz does in conferring these titles to you, these emblems to you, is gives you more weight and authority within the city guard itself. Not as actual members of the city guard. Technically, the faction that you are in right now is city guard allies, right? Because the city guard itself has its own ranking system as actual guardsmen. But Matashtai, as the rank of shield, you can actually, if you flash that badge, you can actually give orders to any city guardsman under the rank of lieutenant, and they will obey you. Now, there might be hell to pay in the aftermath, and obviously, right, if you give them an order that is counter to who they are and what they do for the city, then they're not going to obey you, right? But if the city were attacked or something like that, and you were to happen upon a small squad of city guards, and you were to flash the badge at them, and you were to say, "You're coming with me," right? They would follow you.
Okay. You said under the rank of lieutenant?
Under the rank of lieutenant.
Okay.
So what that does is that basically it confers you the authority of a lieutenant, except any actual lieutenant in the city guard outranks you.
Got it.
The conversation steers to the thumping heart
Great.
in Bones' hands. Which I'm assuming kind of like at this point has made it onto like the corner of the table and is just kind of like oozing over onto the edge
Bones
of the
just holds
table.
it the whole time.
Yeah, we kind of fall asleep.
When you have that baby prod
Right.
thing where you're assigned a fake mechanical baby for like a week.
I did not take that class.
Bones kind of like nods off for a second, and so does Ezra, and the heart boom boom right, and it startles Bones, and Bones wakes up, just stabbing into the heart repeatedly.
Pretty much.
And it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop, and Bones is like, Ezra!
What?
So when we come back from break in just a minute, we're gonna address this heart situation and figure out what's gonna go down from there. So we're gonna take 5. We will see you all in just a few. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.